My sister-in-law pretended to be me at a fertility clinic. She used my embryo and is demanding to be called mom because she's carrying the baby. And if that sounds crazy, that's because this story is jam-packed with the most crazy dramatic twist that you will never see coming. And I have every single update and, of course, a problem comment. Guys, here we go. I'm at a motel room 2 states away from what used to be my home. The AC unit rattles with every breath it takes, and there's a stain on the ceiling that looks disturbingly like a fetus if I stare at it long enough, which I have been, for hours. The irony is not lost on me. Sorry this is long. I've typed and deleted this post 15 times now. I don't even know where to start or if anybody will believe me. I barely believe it myself. I guess I should introduce myself. My name is Nora. I was married to Ryan for 7 years. We met in college, and gosh, that feels like another lifetime now. We would sit in this crappy little coffee shop near campus pretending to study, but really just talking for hours. He'd always get this foam mustache from his latte, and I would wait until he noticed it himself, and it became our thing. We always talked about having kids someday, always. It wasn't even a question of it, just when. After graduation, we got jobs, bought a starter home, a fixer-upper that still has half-painted walls in the guest bedroom, and decided 3 years ago that it was time to start trying. And trying again. Month after month, negative test after negative test. I still have a drawer full of them at home. Sometimes I would hold them up to the light at different angles, convinced that this was a faint second line appearing. There never was. I started taking my temperature every morning before even moving. Ryan bought me a fancy ovulation kit for Christmas one year. Romantic, right? But I was actually thrilled. We tried everything, cutting out alcohol, special diets, acupuncture, those weird fertility smoothies that taste like lawn grass, and hope. Nothing worked. After 3 years of this emotional roller coaster, our doctor finally referred us to a fertility clinic. I remember sitting in that waiting room looking around at all the other couples with the same desperate look in their eyes. Well, Ryan, he squeezed my hand so hard my fingers went numb. I didn't ask him to stop. It felt good to feel something even if it was just pressure. The financial reality hit us like a truck. Our insurance covered exactly 0% of fertility treatments. 0. Do you know how much an IVF costs? More than our car. We emptied our savings account and took out a loan, which felt insane for something that might not even work. I remember the weight of the manila folder full of financial paperwork. It seemed to get heavier every single time that I picked it up. That's when my sister-in-law Amber offered to help. She's Ryan's younger sister by about 3 years. We were never close, but she seemed genuinely supportive when we told the family about our fertility struggle. She offered to drive me to the appointment since Ryan could not take off work. He's the breadwinner at his architectural firm and had already missed too many meetings for our initial consultation. Honestly, I was touched by Amber's offer. She would bring me ginger tea when we were doing the hormone injections that would make me throw up. She would text me encouraging messages with, way too many emojis, but it was sweet. I thought maybe this horrible experience was finally giving me the chance to bond with Ryan's family. The first few appointments went fine. Blood work, ultrasounds, more blood work, and the clinic staff was nice but overworked. I noticed sometimes they gave me weird looks though. Once a nurse asked, "Didn't you just come in yesterday?" I brushed it off. They see so many patients it must be easy to get confused. Our egg retrieval was scheduled for a Tuesday morning. Ryan had an emergency client meeting he could not reschedule, so Amber drove me again. I remember waking up from the sedation, feeling groggy and sore, the smell of antiseptic burning my nostril, and Amber was there, scrolling through her phone, and she looked up when I stared and smiled. 8 eggs. The doctor says that's good. I was relieved. I started crying. 8 chances, 8 possible futures? 4 embryos made it to the blastose stage. When the doctor showed us the microscope image, I couldn't believe the tiny clusters of cells could become our kid. Ryan and I decided to transfer one and freeze the others. We were so hopeful. The night before our scheduled transfer, Ryan and I had a little celebration dinner at home. Nothing fancy, just takeout from our favorite Thai spot. But we lit candles and used the good plates. We had sparkling cider instead of wine, and I was already acting like I was pregnant just in case. We talked about names, about whether the baby would have his eyes or my nose. Gosh, we were so naive. I woke up at 4 a.m. the next morning violently ill. A food poisoning from the Thai spot, I assume. I was vomiting, had a fever, could not keep anything down, and when I called the clinic, they said that they had to reschedule the transfer. Well, I was devastated. The timing of these things is so precise, and we just wasted a month minimum. Amber insisted that she would call to reschedule while I recovered. I was too sick to argue, too sick to notice that she never gave me details about the new appointment, and every time I asked over the next couple of weeks, she would say things like they're still working on it, or just change the subject. Then, 2 weeks later, Amber shows up at our house unannounced. Her eyes were red and puffy. I thought maybe she fought with her boyfriend or something, and I made her tea while she sat at our kitchen table not speaking. The clock on the wall seemed abnormally loud. Tick, tick, tick. "I need to tell you something," she finally said. "I'm pregnant." Well, I was confused. Happy for her, but wondering why she seemed upset rather than excited. Had her boyfriend reacted poorly? Was it unplanned? "Well, that's good news, right?" I asked, sliding the mug of tea towards her. She didn't touch it, just stared at me with this expression I couldn't read. It's your embryo." The words didn't make sense at first. My brain scrambled, rearranged, trying to find interpretations that was not the obvious answer. "What do you mean, my embryo?" And then she told me. She had gone to my scheduled appointment that she rescheduled, which I never even knew about because she never actually told me when it was. She used my ID. She pretended to be me, and the embryo transfer was successful. In her, not me, her. The room spun around me as she explained that she's been attending appointments as me for months. Blood draws, ultrasounds, the works. She had my medical history memorized. "Why?" I screamed, knocking over a glass of water that had been sitting on the table and had shattered on the floor, water soaking into my socks. She didn't even flinch, just stared at me with this eerie calmness. "I've always wanted to be a mother, but nobody would ever choose me." The implication that she was somehow saving our embryo from me hit like acid, like I was unworthy, like she was doing us a favor. Ryan came home to find me hyperventilating on the kitchen floor, surrounded by glass, shards all over the floor. Amber calmly telling him that she was carrying our baby. The look on his face was confusion, anger, betrayal, I don't know, but also something else that terrified me with curiosity. It looked like interest. The weeks that followed were a blur of legal consultations. Turns out custody laws for gestational carriers are complicated as hell, especially when the carrier obtained the embryo fraudulently. The lawyers used words like unprecedented and complex jurisdiction issue. All I heard was expensive and uncertain. Amber refused to consider giving up the baby. She said she's carrying it, she's the mom. Every time she said it, she'd rub her small little flat stomach possessively. The gesture made me physically nauseous. What made everything worse was how Ryan's family rallied around Amber. His mother called me, voice cold as ice, and she said, "You should be grateful. At least the baby will be in the family." My throat closed up. I couldn't respond. I just hung up the phone. Our marriage began to fracture in ways I never imagined possible. Ryan started suggesting maybe we should, quote, make the best of the situation. Consider co-parenting with Amber, and one night I caught him texting her late at night about prenatal vitamin. She asked what brand you used when we were trying. I never took prenatal vitamins. We never got that far. He just mumbled something and went back to sleep. A few days later, Amber asked me to take a picture of her first ultrasound, and she handed me her phone. Already open to the camera app, when I went to take on the camera, I accidentally hit the photo gallery instead. And there they were. Dozens of photos of my medical records, my blood test results, my hormone levels, my doctor note about my thin uterine lining, and potential implantation issues. She's been photographing my private medical information during all of these appointments she drove me to. I felt violated in a way I can't even describe. Like somebody had not just stolen my property, but pieces of my identity, my future, my body. Then came the phone call that broke me completely. A nurse from the clinic called my cell phone privately and said, "Miss Reynolds, this is Jen from Valley Fertility. I need to speak with you about something very sensitive." She told me in a hushed tone that she recognized Amber from another clinic that she used to work at. "This isn't the first time she's done something like this. There was an incident. Yeah, nothing this extreme, but concerning behavior with patient information." My blood ran cold. I mean, this is not impulsive. This was calculated and planned. Guys, that was about 2 months ago, and I have not updated until now because honestly, things have just gotten worse. Amber is showing now a small but distinct bump. She sends Ryan daily updates and ultrasound pictures, and he keeps them in a folder on his phone labeled baby. Not Amber's baby, or the situation, just baby, our baby. I sold my engagement ring when Ryan wasn't home. The jeweler examined the diamond under this special light, turning it this way and that, and I kept thinking about how Ryan had proposed on a hiking trip. At sunset, both of us sweaty and sunburned. The ring had seemed so perfect. Now it was just a currency. I used the money to hire a PI. I'm going to look into what the nurse had told me. He found out that Amber had worked briefly as an admin assistant at 3 different fertility clinics. Yep, she was fired from all of them for privacy violations and ethical concerns. No charges ever filed, and the clinics probably wanted to avoid publicity. One night, I did something I'm not proud of. I went through Ryan's emails while he was sleeping. I've become that person, the suspicious spouse and privacy invader. But what I found broke me all over again. There was emails between him and Amber discussing names for the baby. They'd settled on Elizabeth, my grandmother's name, the name I'd always said I wanted for a daughter. I confronted Ryan the next morning. We were in the bathroom. The shower had been running for so long, the mirror was completely fogged up, and I could barely see his reflection. "She's sick, Ryan. This isn't normal, the investigator found." "Well, maybe she's just giving our baby a chance to exist. The doctor said your uterine lining was too thin for a successful implantation anyways." His words cut deeper than any knife could. The implication was clear. My body failed. Amber had succeeded. In his mind, she was doing what I couldn't. That night, I found a business card in Ryan's wallet while looking for some cash to pay for the pizza delivery. A family lawyer different from what we've been seeing together. I called the number the next day, pretending to be checking on an appointment, and the receptionist cheerfully confirmed Mr. Walker had an appointment with Mr. Reynolds and his sister the following Tuesday. They were meeting with the lawyer behind my back, planning their case against me before the baby was even born. Well, I packed a suitcase while Ryan was at work. Just the essentials. Clothes, toiletries, important documents, the spend-the-night bag. The sound of the zipper closing felt like the final period on a sentence I never wanted to write. I left my wedding ring on his pillow. No note. What was there to say? I'm staying with my college roommate Mackenzie, 2 states away, and she's been amazing. Does not ask too many questions when she finds me crying in the bathroom at 3 a.m. or when I don't get out of bed all day. Yesterday, I received papers, actual legal documents, delivered by a process server to Mackenzie's door. Ryan and Amber are jointly petitioning for full custody of their child, claiming I'm unstable and abandoning the family. I'd say the most surreal part was the attached letter from my mother-in-law detailing how Amber had, quote, selflessly stepped in when I failed to provide a suitable environment for my own embryo. The words swam before my eyes as I read them over and over in a roadside diner. Coffee growing cold, rain pelting the window, and I kept thinking about the day that we got married. Ryan's vows included the line, "I promise to choose you every day for the rest of our lives." Well, funny how quickly promises break when tested. What's up, everybody? Oh man, I have an update for you. So the next update came out 4 months later, but I need to ask you guys this question before we hop into the update. Whose side are you on? Are you on Nora's side, the OP, the original poster, who had her embryo stolen? Or are you on Amber's side? Because, maybe OP actually couldn't have a baby, and Amber was the only one who could deliver the baby. Let me know whose side you're on by commenting down below in the comment section. Say either Amber or Nora. And don't forget to smash that like button to help out with the algorithm. Here's the first update 4 months later. I didn't think I would be updating this post, honestly. I wasn't sure I'd still be alive to update it. There were some dark nights after my last post, like really dark. Thank you to everybody who reached out. Your messages kept me going when nothing else did. It's been 4 months since I last wrote, and I'm in a slightly better place now. At least mentally. Legally? Ooh, that's a whole other nightmare. After my post went viral, still can't believe that happened, a lawyer reached out to me. She specializes in reproductive technology law and offered to take my case pro bono after hearing the details. She said my situation is amongst the most egregious she's encountered in her career. Yay me, I guess. Setting legal precedents I've never wanted to be a part of. I've been staying with Mackenzie this whole time. Her lease is actually up next month and we're both moving. She's gonna go with me to a tiny studio apartment near my new job. Just admin work at a dental office, nothing exciting, but it pays the bills. And her to move in with her boyfriend. See, my mom wanted me to come home, but home is where everyone knows your business, and I can't handle small town gossip right now. 2 weeks ago, I received an unexpected call. A man named Derek identified himself as Amber's ex-boyfriend. He found me through social media and wanted to warn me. She did something similar to her college roommates, stole her identity to get prescription medication. She's been obsessed with having a baby since I've known her. Apparently, Amber had talked about getting pregnant with his child without his knowledge, and she poked holes inside the protection. Lied about being on birth control, the works. When he found out and confronted her, he became erratic, and that's when he ended things. I just thought you should know. She's not mentally well. She's dangerous when she doesn't get what she wants. The preliminary hearing was yesterday, and I wore the only nice outfit I have now. A black skirt and a blazer from Target that still had the security tag attached to it when I got home. The cashier forgot to remove it, and I had to use pliers. Shout out to that YouTube tutorial. Yeah, it worked. Amber showed up in a tight dress that showcased her now prominent pregnant belly. She kept one hand protectively over it the entire time, making sure everybody saw. Ryan stood beside her, his hands on her small of her back. He would not look me in the eyes, not even once. Well, my lawyer presented evidence from the fertility clinic, and Amber had falsified signatures, stolen prescription medicine, and even edited security footage to cover her track. Apparently, she's become friendly with one of the IT guys who gave her access that she should not have had. The clinic is now facing their own investigation for negligence. Small comfort, but at least there might be procedures put in place to prevent this from happening to someone else. The judge seemed very sympathetic to my case, but concerned about the best interest of the child. Those words kept echoing in my head. Best interest? As if Amber, a woman who committed fraud, identity theft, and essentially kidnapped my embryo, could provide a stable home? Well, as we left the courthouse, Amber grabbed my arm in the hallway when no one was looking. Her nails dug into my skin, and she said, "You'll never be her mom." I feel her growing inside of me. She knows my voice and my heartbeat. Then her expression changed, suddenly soft and pitying. But I'll let you visit on holidays. After all, we're still family, right? I haven't stopped shaking since. The full hearing is scheduled for next month. My lawyer says that we have a very strong case, but reproductive law is still evolving and there's no guaranteed outcome. The judge seemed troubled by the unprecedented nature of the situation. Ryan still has not spoken directly to me. All communication goes through lawyers now, and sometimes I stare at my phone willing to ring or willing him to call and just say this was a horrible mistake, that he's leaving her, that he wants to fight for our baby together. But it hasn't happened. Last night I dreamt I was in the hospital giving birth. But when they placed the baby in my arms, it was just a pile of legal documents. I woke up gasping for air, sheets soaked with sweat, and I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I'll ever hold my biological child, and I don't know if I can survive watching Amber raise her as her own. What I do know is that I'll never forgive Ryan, even if by some miracle the court rules in my favor. There's no coming back from this betrayal. He chose his sister over me. He chose the easy path over what was right. Sometimes I wonder if he was in on it from the beginning. If those emergency client meetings were just convenience excuses. If he knew all along what Amber was planning. I guess I'll never know. I keep picturing my grandmother's cameo necklace that I used to play with as a kid. She always said that she would give it to me to pass it down to my daughter someday. It's still in my jewelry box at what used to be my home. Like so many promises, they're just left behind. If you've read this far, thank you. Writing it all out helps somehow, even if nothing changes, even if I lose everything. Well, the court won't happen for a few months, so you probably won't hear back from me, but just let me know in the comment section down below what you would do if you were in my shoes. But you know what? The main reason I'm here posting this is not for support or to read your comments. It's really because I have no one to vent this to. I have to get this out, and I just want to know, what would you have done? What an absolutely insane story. So there has not been anything posted by OP since the last update, but they did say, hey, it's going to be a few months before the court hearing happens, so you're probably not going to hear anything from me. If there's any post and we find out who gets the child custody, you guys will be the first to hear about it. Let me know, though, in the comment section down below. Say Nora or say Amber. Let me know whose side you're on for this story, guys. And I do want to read the problem comment of the day. It says this, and by the way, not a lot of people agreed with this comment. They said that they were being too harsh. It says, this might be a very unpopular opinion, but am I the only one seeing the red flags in your behavior too? You're acting like you're the only victim here, while completely glossing over the fact that you abandoned ship the second things got really tough. Your husband was clearly torn, and instead of fighting for your marriage, you just left without even a note and stayed 2 states away with some of your old friends? And let's talk about this Embryo situation, shall we? Yeah, what Amber did was absolutely psychotic, I know, and illegal. No question. And by the way, you haven't even said if you've gone to the police about this. But I can't help wondering if there's more to the story. You mentioned your thin uterine lining, implantation issues, like they were some minor footnotes. Those are legitimate medical reasons why a transfer might fail. Is it possible that at some level, Ryan saw this and the only chance for his biological child to exist was be with Amber? Also, selling your engagement ring without telling your husband and hiring a PI behind his back, and you still haven't even gone to the cops about this. And why aren't you trying to sue the fertility clinic? Come on. Oh, and then going through his emails? That's some seriously sketchy behavior on your part too. I get that you were desperate, but 2 wrongs do not make a right. The way you describe Ryan's family rallying around Amber makes me think there might be history here that we're not getting, well, from you. Families don't usually side with the crazy person unless there's context that we're missing. I don't know. Something about this whole story feels one-sided, like we're getting the victim narrative without the self-reflection. Sorry if this sounds harsh, it's the truth. Relationships are very complex, and I'm not convinced you're as innocent in the situation as you're portraying to be. The real victim is that poor child who's going to be born into this absolute dumpster fire of a family drama. Guys, I do agree with some parts of that comment, but other parts I don't. Let me know down below your opinion on that. And also drop a comment that says Amber or Nora so I know whose side you're on. Guys, if you're new to the channel, well, I'm going to start posting 2 to 3 videos across this channel and my other channel, Mr. Reddito's Revenge. Those are my only 2 channels, and the logo on the channel will look like this. If you don't see that logo, I'm not going to be narrating it. Like I said, these are my only 2 channels. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow, and of course remember one thing. It's cool to be kind. Peace.